Welcome to Friday Feedback, Viewer Mailbag. This is where we read a letter from the community asking for help, reaching out for guidance. We love that. If you guys would like to, feel free to go to thefiguys.com, figuyspodcast.com.
Five Guys video podcast. Oh no, it's just Five Guys, thefiviguys.com.
Okay. Yeah, because our email in the URL, yeah, you get it. Or email us at thefiguysvideopodcast.com.
The Five Guys video podcast at gmail.com. But you can just go to thefiguys.com. We got it. Fiveguys.com. Go to feedback, put it in there. We're good.
Yep.
On
or
to the
in
letter.
The description. Yeah, let's get to the letter, boys. Let's get to the letter. Alrighty, let's go. We got a bit of a doozy here, so strap in, grab your popcorn, get your tea ready, because it's tea time with the Five Guys. So, reverse mortgage nightmare. Grandpa's choice is putting us on the streets. On the streets,
oh,
boys.
Boy.
This is a doozy. If you guys don't know about reverse mortgages, well, we were about to learn a thing or two. Howdy, Five Guys. Howdy. Here I am, a 17-year-old writing to a podcast, hoping that maybe, just maybe, you can offer some clarity or a lifeline from my family. You've always been the ones talking about overcoming challenges and achieving financial independence. And I feel like we're at the edge of a cliff right now, about to lose everything. Last year, my grandfather passed away at 85. It's been hard, but even harder because of what he left behind. A reverse mortgage on our family home. Our home, the one place we always had, now feels like a ticking time bomb. It's a small, modest 3-bedroom, 1-bath in a quiet neighborhood worth about $300,000. Doesn't sound like much, but to us, it's everything. And now it's slipping away.
Before we go on, first off, to our viewer, I want to say I'm sorry for your loss. That's awful.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of questioning, Dominic. I wonder how this was their home if the grandfather took a reverse mortgage on it.
It's true.
That means it had to be in the grandfather's name. So maybe, this guy's 17 years old, so maybe he just doesn't know the full story. But my guess is that grandpa was the landlord or the owner of the house and they were living in it. And it was their, like, quote unquote, their home, but like not actually in their name.
Interesting.
They're not actually in the mother and the father's name of this writer. Because obviously he's 17, he doesn't own the home.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I would say, do you want to explain what a reverse mortgage is real quick?
Well, let's go on and let's see if I have to explain what a reverse mortgage is. That'd probably be better.
Yeah. The reverse mortgage company says we need to come up with $300,000 to settle the loan. Or they take the house. We're barely getting by as is. My mom is trying her very best, but it's simply not enough. Every bill, every letter, every property tax is like a reminder that we're running out of time. We've spoken to the housing advisors, but all we've gotten is vague answers with no real solutions. Stuff like, you have options, but none of these options seem like they'll actually save your home. I've tried to keep it together for my mom's sake and my younger brother, but the reality is, it's crushing me. We're completely alone in this. No family, no friends with the means to help. It's just us. And now I'm wondering, should I start packing my things? Do I need to tell my brother that we could be homeless in a few weeks? Is this really it? I listened to your episodes. Yeah.
1 second. So I probably should explain what a reverse mortgage is based off what they just said there. So in simple terms, reverse mortgage is a type of loan for homeowners. That's the reason I was thinking like the grandfather had to be the owner of the home. So it couldn't be quote unquote their home. They could live in it. It could be their house, but it's not like their house, if that makes sense. Yeah. Their ownership house. So that type of home loan is typically made to people that are over 62 years old. And it allows them to borrow money against the value of their home without having to make monthly payments. Instead, the loan is paid back when the homeowner either moves, sells their house, or most likely for taking out a home equity or a reverse mortgage when they pass away. So I'm going to break it down really simply into how it works, okay? So in simple terms, it gets way deeper than this, but I don't want to sit here for 20 hours. So you borrow money. So the homeowner is going to get money from a lender, either a lump sum, monthly payments, or as needed, using their home value as collateral. Therefore, they have to make no monthly payments. So unlike a regular mortgage, the homeowner doesn't have to make monthly payments on the loan anymore because now they took the loan out. The loan's going to grow over time, and the amount owed increases because the interest rate that's continuing to add up. And then there's going to be a payback time. So the loan has to be repaid when the homeowner, again, either moves, sells, or most likely passes away. Usually, the house is sold when the person passes away, and the proceeds go to paying off the reverse mortgage. So, in short, a reverse mortgage lets older homeowners get cash for their home's value while they're still alive, but the loan has to be paid back eventually, often by selling the house.
Interesting.
So that's the risk.
Gotcha. I have a very niche question. If you don't know the answer, that's totally fine. This really wouldn't be a question anybody would ask, but I'm just a little bit curious. Say you have to be over 62, right? Or in ballpark, right? Say you're 70. You've got 10 rental properties. Could you reverse mortgage all 10 properties? Get a bunch of cash? Or is it what can you only do like one reverse mortgage?
No, you can do that.
Really? That's crazy. Okay. I was
Yes.
just curious about that.
The reverse mortgage, it's the lender is the one who takes on the risk because the way that they make more money is by selling the house at a depreciated level than they gave you the loan, because housing is always supposed to go up, right? That's the old adage. So that's the reason that they take on that
position.
That risk is to say that, like, okay, when you eventually pass away, we'll be able to sell this property for more than the loan that we provided to you.
Yeah.
So sense. You definitely could do that, but just know that, like, if you own 10 rental properties, your estate plan is like, and you want to like leave that to your kids or something like that, doing reverse mortgages is definitely not the way to go. Reverse mortgages, like, I have a client right now who we've kind of looked into a reverse mortgage for, and the only reason that we're willing to even do that is because there are no heirs, and like the goal is for them to live the best life that they can while they're alive, not to worry about estate planning or anything like that.
Yeah.
And that should be the main goal anyways, is that, it's your money, you made it, live that life. But for this person, where the grandfather was the owner of the house, knowing that other people were living in it, this is where the grandfather maybe should have spoken to somebody and like kind of had a discussion as to what the thoughts were, leading into it. Or who knows what the grandfather's point of view was. Maybe he was really desolate and like, this is what he needed. I have no idea.
Absolutely.
But it definitely sets up for a really tough situation. So let's go on and hear what they have to say.
I've listened to your episodes about overcoming the impossible odds, about turning things around, even when life feels like there's no way out. And right now, that's exactly where I'm at. At the end of my line, with no clear path forward, I don't know what else to do but reach out for guidance. Maybe you've seen a situation like this before, or maybe you can offer some advice on what we should do next. Because we're drowning, and I'm terrified of what the future holds. This isn't about just losing a house. It's about losing the only stability we have left. The only thing my grandfather left behind. And at 17, I'm not sure how to carry the weight of this situation. Please, if you can, help us figure out a way forward. Thank you, and sincerely, from Reverse Mortgage Nightmare. Bills and stress are piling high, running out of options. Will our home soon be waving goodbye? That's sad. Yeah, that's devastating.
This is why we typically end with win of the week.
Yes. Yeah. First of all, obviously, we're sorry about your loss. And, it's tough to deal with these kinds of circumstances alone. But when you stack, there's supposed to be a grandpa at the head of the table, on that side of the table, and you set the plate down and there's nobody there. Like, that's tough. That's unbelievably tough. So
I wonder if he lived in the house with them, because it doesn't. He only our writer only said my mom and my younger brother. So I'm guessing the father isn't there. So maybe the grandfather was in the house with them.
Yeah, because you said 3-bedroom, 1 bath, which 1 bath is not great, but 3 bedrooms you could make it work. The boys share the siblings share a room,
So you're right, viewer. We often do, and we always will talk about, overcoming the odds and that you can do it if you believe in yourself. And I'm going to tell you that we also say that with time and commitment. Just to preface all this, because unfortunately, I know you have the commitment, but right now, like you don't have the time. And I want to introduce you to a concept. It's a Taoist concept. I'm actually reading the Tao Te Ching right now. Um, and it's this concept of Uwe. Uwe. I think it's Uwe. But it's on the story of your life. Uwe is the path that you're taking. So many times, and I think you can probably look back in your life, to our listener, and Dom, you can do it too. You can look back to every moment that you went back. You can think, be like, God, why is this happening to me? This is the worst thing that ever happened. And now that you're past it, you can look back and be like, well, that was not great. I learned so much from that experience. And that's that thought of Uwe, and having that, like, while you're in this moment, that like, yes, it sucks. I get it. And how is this in the future going to be the best thing that ever happened to you? And accepting that instead of waiting 20, 15, 10 years in the future to look back and say that, how can we start living that manifestation right now of this thing is the best thing that's ever happened to me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's such a tough position.
No, it really is. And this, I mean, our viewer is only 17 years old. So unfortunately, there's really not a lot that they can do directly.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to go and make $300,000, which is certainly an option. You know, you can start a company, start drop shipping or something like that. But I feel like I would just be sending you in different directions, and it'd be a lot. Like, I really would prefer that you focus on school, focus on your family, focus on getting the education, building yourself up, so that when you're ready, you can look back on this time and be like, that was the thing that set me on the path to where I am 10 years from now, 5 years from now.
Absolutely.
So for the executor of your grandfather's estate, I'm not sure if that's your mother. I'm not sure if your mother has siblings, but the executor is the person who's supposed to take care of your grandfather's estate. And his estate is everything that's left after he is gone. All of his assets, including his house, bank accounts, maybe investment accounts, stuff like that. So whoever that person is, whoever the executor of your grandfather's estate is, he needs to get in contact with the mortgage company, or she needs to get in contact with a mortgage company to determine how much is owed on the reverse mortgage. Because you said that the reverse mortgage is $300,000, but the home value is $300,000. So I kind of doubt that.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is it's probably lower, or the house has depreciated since the time that they loaned it out. Because no loan company is going to loan you the exact amount that the house is worth. They typically are going to loan you less because they want to make more money on it.
Mm-hmm.
So if the mortgage isn't paid off, because it doesn't, honestly, Dominic, like, he's 17 years old. I don't know what he knows or doesn't know, because I'm sure a lot of this is like hearsay.
Yeah.
Like, he hears his mom talking about it. So
yeah.
Once the executor does reach out, if there is a mortgage that has to be paid off, the home is going to go up for sale. If the home sells and there's more than the balance of the loan, the excess money for the house sell will go back into your grandfather's estate. And ideally, that'll go to pay off other debts. And then after that, it'll be dispersed to the people that are left of that. Maybe he had a trust. If he doesn't have a trust and he only had a will, maybe he didn't have a will, you're going to have to go through the probate process, which we've talked about before, is a beast. But if the house sells for less than the balance of the loan, the mortgage company eats the difference. So you're not liable for that, but you are out of a home. So that's where the risk is pooled by. It's by the mortgage company. So if your mom wants the house, they're going to have to pay off the balance of that loan. And I don't know what it is. You said $300,000, so I'm going to assume it's $300,000 because I don't have better information. So simply put, your grandfather's estate beneficiaries, the beneficiaries are whoever the things are left to. They're going to inherit the house, and they're inheriting the house with a reverse mortgage on it. So they only have two options. Option one, and this is already happening, is they're going to sell the house, pay off the mortgage, and take whatever's left, or more likely, whatever is not left. The other option is they retain the house and they get the mortgage by paying the amount owed on the reverse mortgage.
Yeah.
So if I was you and I was in this situation, the first thing I would do, well, I mean, you're 17, so there's probably not a lot you can do.
Yeah, there's not much you can do, yeah.
But say it was me at my age, or at 18 or 20, and I was you, the first thing I would try to do is contact the reverse mortgage company and ask for specifics about the repayment options, deadlines, and any available extensions. After that, I would explore some loan options, because if you need to come up with $300,000, we better explore that. So if the family wants to keep the home, they have to look into financial options to repay the reverse mortgage, such as a traditional mortgage. At the beginning of the letter, he said that his family has been in dire financial restraints. Dire financial restraints typically isn't, or constraints typically isn't like, and we're going to get a $300,000 mortgage. It's maybe very hard to qualify. And for a 17-year-old, you don't qualify automatically. I know that both those things probably don't sound feasible to you. So I would consider selling the house before it gets foreclosed on and avoiding any further debt, and maybe even have the ability to retain some possible equity that may come back into your grandfather's estate and eventually get dispersed out if there aren't any other debts that need to be paid first. So I know that you're seeking professional help right now, but you need to continue to consult whoever's in charge, maybe the probate or the person, the beneficiary or the executor. They should probably really try to find a real estate attorney for guidance on this, or like a financial advisor who specializes in reverse mortgage laws. Because I don't know enough about it to be able to like tell you that you can do this or that.
Yeah.
From there, like negotiate with the lender, negotiate with the reverse mortgage company. Ask maybe about like a short sale, or if there's any other options the lender might be able to accept for less than the full balance owed. There's the worst thing that you can do by asking is they say no. They're not going to be like, oh, you asked that question. We've just doubled the load now for you asking a dumb question. There are no dumb questions. Like, this is coming down to your livelihood of getting kicked out of your damn house. Like, start Hail and Marys, bro. Like, throw anything you can downfield.
Absolutely.
I don't know of any government assistance programs, but you can check. I don't know what state you're in either. So maybe your state, or there might be a federal program that can help with housing and foreclosure prevention, maybe to like keep you and your younger brother and mother off the streets. That could be something. And I'm really sorry to say this, but in all actuality, I really think you do need to prepare for the worst case scenario. I think based off what you wrote there and based off my just kind of thought process, foreclosure seems pretty inevitable. Obviously, I don't know all the situation. I only know what you wrote in. But I would start planning, like, where am I going to move next to safeguard my valuables, safeguard my personal belongings, but most importantly, safeguard my personal health. And if you have the story in your head that like this should not be happening and this cannot happen, it's going to make it a lot harder if it eventually does. So I would start preparing myself for the worst case scenario, so that when it does pass, you're like, okay, this is expected, rather than like, oh my God, I never saw this coming.
Absolutely. And this is more something for down the line. If the worst case scenario comes, use it as a foundation to build back stronger, rather than saying, woe is me, and I'm hating someone for it. Don't hold any hate for your mother or your grandfather or anybody else. Hate isn't going to do you any good. I would use this opportunity to be like, this is what it feels like. This is what not having the means to take care of your family looks like and feels like. And it hurts. It sucks. A lot of us have been there. And use that as a powerful motivator to inspire not just yourself, but your mother and your little brother and the people around you. I think it's very important to take fuel from everything in life, especially when life hits you hard and knocks you down. Use this as fuel. And maybe one day you have an even bigger house with your family, right? Or I know a lot of people, they want to buy back their childhood home. Maybe that can be the case. But I think this situation is unfortunate, to say the least. But I think there's still things you can take from it to build yourself stronger. But I agree with Chris with, getting a financial advisor that specializes in reverse mortgages, and look for government assistance if you can. I don't know what is needed to qualify on a loan like this in your state, right? You wouldn't be able to qualify being that you're 17, but maybe getting a job or a part-time job just to help your mom out with the bills a little bit, not necessarily to save it, but she's been carrying the load for 3 people, maybe even 4 people, for a while, and it would be a fresh way to get a step up as a family and a great way to kind of build a new chapter. So that's what
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no easy way, but just like Dom talked about, and like I talked about with that concept of Uwe, start to think about like, how is this the best thing that ever happened to me? If you're writing the story of your life, this might be that chapter that like, and then things really turned around. But sometimes in order for us to experience the highest of highs, we need to experience the lowest of lows. And right now, you're 17 years old. I know this seems like the sky is falling. And in many ways, yes, like you're losing the roof of your head, but you're still going to have your family. You're still going to be alive. The sun will rise tomorrow. And like we talk about often on the podcast, anything is possible and you can achieve your dreams. It just takes time and it takes commitment. Don't allow this to destroy that commitment that you have to bettering yourself and that vision that you can get there. Because if you believe you can get there, you will. But if you believe that like it's impossible, I was screwed over or whatever, you're not going to get there.
Absolutely.
But we believe in you. I believe in you. I know Dominic believes in you.
Yep.
You can do this. I'm really sorry for what you're going through. I'm so sorry for your loss. I wish I could do more. And that's the hardest part, Dominic, like as a financial advisor, when someone comes to you in these situations, that's something I really struggle with like a lot, especially someone who like struggles with anxiety and stuff, is when someone comes to me to like, hey, I need help with this stuff. And like, I help them, but like, I'm like, as a financial advisor, like I'm not going to pay off your $300,000 mortgage.
No.
It's kind of like if you go back and listen to the coaching call with Kate, right? She came in with, I don't know, 20 something $1,000 in debt. And we go through this whole thing. And at the end of it, like of the end of our hour and a half together, like she's still $21,000 in debt. People in the comments be like, oh, well, Chris didn't even fix that. And it's like, yeah, because like I can't fix $21,000 in debt in an hour and a half because the person that has to fix it is Kate. So what I worked on fixing was Kate so that she could be the hero of her own story. So that might be the bigger thing that you need to take away from this, viewer, is that you need to be the hero of your own story and seeking out guide. Like when you go out and you seek guidance from an advisor or from a mortgage professional or something like that to try to figure out, the government assistance programs, you're just seeking a guide, not a hero. You're the hero. You're seeking the guide to help you to get where you need to go. Don't become a victim. Don't be a villain. Too many people are playing that freaking character. Be a hero.
Absolutely.
Your own story, because no one else is coming to save you.
That's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. We wish you the best of luck. You've got this. And we'll be thinking of you.
This video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the host and guests, not the podcast sponsor. It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com.